the dark descent. Are you trapped? You ever get that feeling deep down that something's just not right? Like a part of your life is controlling you? On Man of Thoughts, we confront the tough stuff head on. We're talking about porn addiction and the 6 dangerous stages that can lead you down a very dark path. This isn't about judgment. It's about understanding and recognizing the signs. Let's break down each stage, step by step, so you can see the warning signs and get help if you need it.
It always starts innocently enough, doesn't it? Just a fleeting moment of curiosity, a little curiosity, a glimpse here, a click there, and suddenly you're hooked. You tell yourself it's no big deal, that everyone's doing it, so why not you? The point is, this is where the seed gets planted, deep in your mind. Whatever the trigger, you find yourself drawn in, intrigued by this forbidden fruit, unable to resist. You justify it, rationalize it, tell yourself it's just a phase, nothing more. It's all part of growing up, exploring your sexuality, right? Everyone does it. And besides, it's not hurting anyone, so what's the harm in it? But here's the thing. That's the addiction talking, not you. It whispers these sweet little lies, lulls you into a false sense of security, making you feel safe. You might start seeking it out more often, spending more time online, or even changing your browsing habits to accommodate it. These are early red flags, signs that shame and secrecy are already starting to creep in, unnoticed. The longer you stay in this initial phase, the easier it becomes to justify moving on to the next, more dangerous stage.
This is where things start to get truly dangerous. The initial curiosity you felt has morphed into something more intense, a craving that's harder to ignore and control. You find yourself needing more to achieve the same effect as before. What used to be enough now leaves you wanting, needing something stronger, more explicit, more taboo. You're spending more time and energy seeking out pornographic content, often at the expense of other activities you used to enjoy. Hobbies, relationships, work, they all start to take a back seat in your life. Your sleep might be affected, your appetite too. You're irritable, restless, and constantly preoccupied with thoughts of when you'll get your next fix. The shame and guilt are intensifying too. You know you should stop, but the pull is just too strong. You promise yourself you'll cut back tomorrow, that this is the last time. But deep down, you know you're not being honest with yourself. And that's the insidious thing about addiction. It thrives on denial. Are you truly in control of your behavior, or is it starting to control you more and more?
At this stage, the addiction has dug its claws in deep, gripping you tighter each day. It's no longer just a bad habit. It's a central part of your life, dictating your daily routine. You depend on it to cope with stress, anxiety, loneliness, even boredom, seeking solace in its familiarity. It's become your go-to solution for anything and everything life throws at you, a crutch you can't let go of. You're spending hours each day, maybe even more, consuming pornographic content, losing track of time. It's affecting your work, your relationships, your health, and every aspect of your well-being. You might be withdrawn, isolated, and struggling to connect with the people around you, feeling more alone than ever. Intimacy in your real life might be suffering, as you increasingly prefer the fantasy world to the real one, distancing yourself from loved ones. The shame and guilt are almost unbearable now, weighing heavily on your conscience. You hate yourself for what you're doing, but you feel powerless to stop, trapped in a vicious cycle. You try to quit, you really do. But the withdrawal symptoms are too intense, making it feel impossible. You experience anxiety, irritability, insomnia, even physical symptoms like headaches and nausea, making each day a struggle. You use porn to escape your problems, but it only creates more problems, which then drives you back to using more or perpetuating the cycle. It's a trap, and it's easy to feel like there's no way out, like you're stuck forever. But let me tell you something, there is hope. Recovery is possible, and you can reclaim your life.
This is the stage where it all comes crashing down. The addiction has taken a heavy toll on your life, leaving a trail of broken promises, shattered relationships, and missed opportunities in its wake. You're at a breaking point, emotionally, mentally, maybe even financially. The things that used to bring you pleasure no longer hold any appeal. You're numb, detached, and utterly hopeless. Suicide might even cross your mind as you struggle to see a way out of the abyss. The guilt and shame are overwhelming, suffocating you under their weight. You might engage in risky behavior, seeking out increasingly extreme or dangerous content to feel anything at all. You're desperate to recapture that initial high, but it's a losing battle. But it's important to remember that even in the darkest of times, there is always hope. This is it, the final stage of addiction, the point of no return. You're completely consumed by your need for porn, trapped in a cycle of craving and indulgence that feels impossible to break. Your life revolves around the next fix, and everything else fades into the background. You've lost all motivation, all hope, all sense of self. You're a shell of the person you used to be, your spirit crushed under the weight of your addiction. The guilt and shame are constant companions, whispering insidious lies that you're worthless, hopeless, and beyond redemption. You might experience blackouts, periods where you can't remember what you did or how much time has passed. Your behavior becomes increasingly erratic and unpredictable. You've lost touch with reality, your mind consumed by the fantasy world of your addiction. But even in this darkest of hours, there is a glimmer of hope. Recovery is still within reach.
Look, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Porn addiction is a serious issue, one that can have devastating consequences if left unchecked. But here's the thing. You don't have to suffer in silence. There is help available, people who understand what you're going through and can guide you towards recovery. The first step is the hardest, admitting you have a problem. But once you take that step, you've already started on the path to healing. So reach out, ask for help, and start your journey back to the life you deserve.